There's been a little problem in the cockpit.
The cockpit? What is it?
Welcome. Welcome to the Project Study Space as per usual. This is actually the clinic. This is where we do this is a center for research, art therapy. We do arts and crafts on Zoom this time because of the COVID pandemic. But actually, this is where we try to use our hands to be more mentally well, because I am an art therapist, but I'm also a trauma clinician. But this is Gold Diggers, and so tonight I'm a gold digger, and I have to tell you that our topic tonight is so interesting. In fact, it wasn't planned, but it was requested by our millions of fans. Actually, all 4 of them. They requested for this topic if I could cover it, and hopefully you can pick up something from it. This is an extra episode. Really a quick overview on what addiction is. Kasi whenever I say addiction, whenever we hear the word addiction or addict, we immediately think gambling, substance, alcohol, shabu, especially in the climate of this drug war. We always think it's meth, etc. So, but I need you to know that addiction is broader than this, and it's really helpful for us to understand it, because I have a feeling somehow we are all addicts. Seriously. Okay. A lot of people say, not just people in general, but there have been studies that concluded that addiction is caused by choice, meaning, you're weaker in resolve, you can't stop smoking, can't stop drinking, so it's your choice, and that you're weak. And other people also peg it on genetics, like, oh, if it's in your family, you're predisposed to becoming an addict, etc., because your uncle was an addict, or etc. Okay, so I need you to know, I had to use my face. Nobody chooses to be an addict. Okay, nobody ever wakes up and says, oh, I think I want to be hooked on cocaine. I mean, nobody does that. I need you to know that addiction is a whole different world. I think we were understanding it wrong. It's not a choice. Nobody chooses it. Then what is it? I also think genetics, I don't think it's because you have an I'm an addict gene. I don't think it's that. I think it's because it's what you saw. So I guess the what do you call that? What's the word? The pagiging nakakahawa is not viral, it's not bacterial, and it's not in your DNA or in your cellular framework, not fully, but it's also in the modeling, like what you've seen. Okay, so but they did have studies that say, oh yeah, there are more people who are prone or predisposed to become addict, like addictive personality, but it doesn't determine. So I'll tell you now, genetics can predispose you, but it does not determine. Like, it doesn't, like, my mom is an addict, my dad is an addict, an uncle's an addict, I will definitely be an addict. No, not at all. That's 30%. You have a propensity, but then you can always change it with environment, nurture, things you surround yourself with, things you spend your time on. Like, for example, fat. I mean, there are a lot of families have a genetic framework of what their bodies are like mesomorph, ectomorph, but it doesn't determine you. Like, let's say you have obesity in your family. It doesn't automatically determine you will do that. You can always change it with your habits, your diet. They say exercise is only 33.3%. A lot of it is in the intake, and a lot of it also is in your metabolism and actual framework of your internal organs. But does exercise help? Yes. Does diet help? Yes. So it's all like many, many little percentages. You cannot just say, oh, my family is prone to being obese, and therefore I am obese. Like, no, you have control. And again, so that we're a bit more understanding regarding addiction. So we have not acquitting and not even approving of the choice, but we should be kinder when we try to understand the genetics and the choice that come with addiction, because if we're kinder, we're wiser. I think that's it. So I need you to know that there is a large theory that addiction is caused by choice and genetics. And I want you to know that it's just a predisposition. It's not a determination. You can still change it. Kasi when we were children, we really thought the whole world revolved around us. Not in a bad way, not in a, we are narcissistic. We were narcissistic as children, but not in a pejorative way na parang we're so conceited. It's just that when we were children, when good things happen, we're happy and we think it's about us, just something to do with us. And when some things wrong happen, we also think it has something to do with us. Let me give you an example. I guess nafi-feed din ito na parang, nanalo sa loto kasi swerte ko si ABC, may pamangkin. So we always do that. But when you're a child kasi and let's say you hear or sense that your parents are nag-aalala sila sa let's say sa electricity bill, it's a stress, it's really their problem. But as a child, because you're the center of the world, you think, oh, is it because I use too much aircon, is it because I use too much electric fan, is it because my school tuition is expensive, and somehow you stress yourself on it. So you think you are the cause and the source of everything, happy and sad. But we're not our parents had their own stresses, and we as children may have, without knowing it, absorbed some of them. So I'm telling you now, as an adult, that a lot of the stresses of our parents we did not cause. That was external things. Maybe they were worried about money. Who wouldn't be? And maybe they lashed out on us sometime, or maybe they weren't so warm on certain stretches kasi they're stressed. But you need to know that that is not your fault. You did not cause it. You're 6 years old. You're there. You're supposed to be just loved. So now, if we all had sad childhoods, who didn't? We need to figure that out now. That it's not all about us. Sometimes it's also our parents were stressed because maybe of the government situation, or maybe our finances, etc. So I need to overemphasize this. This session is not about blaming parents, okay, on the addiction and stuff. It's not at all about that, because we know most parents, if not all, they really try their best with whatever they have. And I also have a feeling, maybe some of you are parents already, those who are watching this, you've been traumatized too. So it's really hard. Now, are we hopeless? No. No, we're not hopeless. We can actually discuss it, be more alert. I think trauma really, and addiction, I think trauma gets really problematic when we are not aware of it. Yung hindi man lang natin napapansin, we're traumatized and all our behavior goes around it. And addiction for me is a symptom of another problem. I don't think addiction is the problem. I think addiction was even the way someone was trying to solve the problem. Let me go and proceed and try to explain it, okay? Kasi when you are young, you want to be liked. So you're so you're also friendly, you're funny, you're winning spelling contests, you're winning science contests, and everybody is, and when you feel a bit of rejection, like, mom, can we play? And wait, I'm fixing the electricity bill or whatever. You feel rejected. And even if it seems like a small thing now, please remember, you were just a child. So everything was big at the time. And when you are not very likable, when everybody doesn't like you, when you are not pleasing, you feel you're a failure. Okay? And when you feel like a failure, when this is extreme, when it's na-neglect ka ng sobra-sobra, what they say, insignificant ways, in very significant ways, or na-abandon ka here and there were traumatic experiences, we really go around as adults not knowing what's clouding our minds a lot of the time. Kasi akala natin wala lang yun. Kasi we were so young, the past is the past, finish na yan, I'm a grown-up. But please remember, if someone forgot your birthday when you were 5 years old, that's a big thing. That's a big thing. You have to be kinder to yourself and really don't, ang bilis kasi natin magpa-cool na parang arte mo naman, nakalimutan lang birthday mo. But please understand, you're 5 years old, you're 6 years old, that's big. And alam mo, sometimes we carry it to adulthood. Not sometimes, I think always we carry it. So it's very good to study your childhood. When were you hurt? Was it because someone called you fat, dark, kulot, bobo? Sometimes it's that. Kala mo maliit lang yon. Yung may one experience where, you would overhear your aunt say, ah, hindi, pero mas maganda si, or hindi, pero mas matalino si, and you're 6 years old and you overhear it, you think it's nothing, but oh my God, it actually formed your character. So now that we're older and we have chances to have these mental health minutes with gold diggers, let's think about this dark cloud that's around us, because we can clear it. We can clear it by awareness. It always leads to frustration kasi. So I know that the topic is addiction. Let me tell you, when you are, let me go back to the last slide. When you are this bothered, by the way, the artist by Giselle Dekel, my friend from Israel, she's a very talented artist from Tel Aviv. We think the pain is so deep sometimes, when we were abandoned as a child, or we feel our parents didn't really welcome us, or ang dami nating feelings and we can always dismiss it and say arte, but give yourself this chance to be sentimental and arte and say, yeah, I was hurt as a kid. So sometimes lang, not all the time, we look for things to soothe this pain, yung para ma-comfort yung pain. So ang nangyayari, I'll go back to another slide, in order for us to be like, we will not say no, we will do all the favors, um, kahit pagod ka na, oo ka pa rin, kahit wala na sa schedule mo, because you're so desperate to be not a failure. You want to be liked. And a lot of that leads to addiction, and it's so frustrating because sometimes addiction is something you can't control sometimes, but please stay with me here because the next slide is really interesting. Addiction is, and you can read the slide, I know, but I will read it with you. It's really any behavior that gives you some relief or a fix or a high. So it doesn't even have to be drugs. And therefore you crave it. Parang, naglilihi ka, or like, I think in Filipino, the word is giyang, nagigiyang ka, and you really, really want, parang, I'm craving ice cream, or I'm craving siniguelas, or I'm craving kaimito, I'm craving tortang talong, whatever it is you really want. And then when you get it, there is pleasure, there is relief, okay? But sometimes there are negative consequences to the addiction, and we have trouble giving it up. So, for example, if you are heartbroken, sometimes the addiction is to party. To party, or to really go to the gym para you look so much better, to make the last person who broke your heart regret breaking your heart, like, look at what you're missing. So you kind of become addicted to the gym, but I'll tell you now, you are not addicted to the gym. You are addicted to the revenge that you want to show the ex that hurt you because you assume they left you because you're fatter. I mean, come on. But it's real. We all think of this. So if you've been heartbroken, and if you've been in pain, and you, let's say, take to the bottle, like you drink beer a lot, or you drink hard drinks a lot of this is coping, because you want to, what usually happens, the frame of mind is this: I'd rather be drunk than sad. I'd rather be drunk than heartbroken. So you think it's beer that you want, but actually what you want is not to be heartbroken. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So I don't really think addiction is the problem. I think addiction is the symptom that there's something else that's hurting you, and you want to soothe it and temporarily relieve yourself of the pain or the heartbreak. So this goes for complex traumas, like if it's childhood and it's chronic. Kaya ang hirap mag-give up. So we don't stop an addiction like on the surface of taking out all the bottles from the house, or I think that one way to really address, to rehabilitate, is to ask, what are you running from? What are you trying not to feel that you'd rather be stoned? What was so painful that you'd rather be drunk? and that it's a relief to actually be stoned, and I'm going to go back to my face. I taught in the maximum security prison, and 99% of people I encountered, their crimes are crimes related to acquiring what they're addicted to. So it's not so much that they do the crime while they're high. They do the crime because they badly want the meth. They do the crime because they badly want the cocaine. So they steal to sell, they carnap to sell, they kidnap to sell. to get the fix. But when I asked my inmate students, why do you like meth? One of them said, when I'm high, I feel confident. When I'm high, I feel happy. When I'm high, I forget everything that broke my heart. When I'm high, I feel so sure of myself, I can do good work. Now, if you want to be sure of yourself and do good work, if you want to be happy, if you want to forget heartbreak, those are not bad things. I mean, everybody wants that. So, I think the difference is, and I'm going to go back to the slides now. I think the difference is what we choose to soothe ourselves. So there are some people who become addicted to chocolate, to exercise, to, sometimes I super wish I got addicted to vegetables and exercise, but I'm not. So, but you can choose a soothing because we're soothing something that may have less consequences. So, a sarap nga eh, kasi parang I've met some people who got addicted to walking. Like they can walk talaga from their house to UP Diliman. Right? And I think that's a wonderful addiction. Some get addicted to being so intricate in making their coffee. And I like that also because it gives them a ritual in the morning. But okay, let's go back to the actual addiction. There are addictions that soothe us from our traumas, but they create more problems. So yan yung drugs, yan yung alcohol, etc. Kasi okay, you temporarily forget, but if you crave it and you need to be constantly drunk 24/7, 365, then it causes more problems with your relationship, your health, your etc. So I think what I want you to know is that if you are addicted to something like buying shoes or buying books or exercise or romance or sex or Tinder or porn, this is something that parang you always need a fix of. You're gonna have to ask yourself, what does it relieve? Why is there pleasure? Do I feel beautiful when I have sex with someone? I mean, baka the addiction is you want to be assured that you're attractive. Baka the addiction is you don't want to be alone. Maybe the soothing is abandonment. So you become like this romance addict, romance junkie, and you become a soulmate junkie, and you look for, keep dating, serial monogamy, always having someone. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. There's nothing wrong with that. That's very normal. I think it's just important to know what are you soothing. And if it's loneliness, and you realize, oh, because I don't want to be abandoned, then you can find other sources. It could be a friend, it could be a dog, it could be join a group or something. It doesn't always have to be something that's harmful. We can choose an addiction that has less consequences. That less consequences. I do have an addiction. Like I buy a lot of books, and I thought for a while it was harmful because I didn't get to read them all. But the pandemic happened. I'm actually finishing up almost everything in where I am because a book triggers me to get sleepy, which, like I mentioned all the time, I'm an insomniac. So anything that gets me sleepy, I like. So I think if you look at the rust-colored bar at the bottom, I think that's the goal. I don't, I don't think I can stop anybody from having an addictive personality or leaning. You will always be crazy about something, whether a sport or hopefully, no, kasi that kind of makes one mentally healthy, especially in the days of the pandemic. Like, na-addict ka matuto mag-bake ng banana bread, na-addict ka sa ube cheese pandesal, na-addict ka sa cross-stitching, sa BTS, sa K-Wave, not a problem. It's fine if it gets you through the day. In fact, that's not a problem with me because those have very little consequences. When you're addicted to K-drama, it doesn't mess up with your liver. It doesn't. If you're addicted to Netflix or watching Friends over and over again, watching Chernobyl over and over again, watching House of Cards over and over again, it does not jeopardize your liver. So I'm cool with that. So understand that we become addicted to something, not so much for the something, but the relief it gives us. So hopefully we can make choices that have less consequences. And how do we understand this? We make it daily to always go back to our childhood and really think of what hurt you when you were a childhood. Go back to that pain and then you soothe that pain. I have a feeling a lot of the unnecessary, hurtful addictions will depart when there's one or two small uh, childhood pains that you resolve and say, I was a child then, but I'm bigger now and it's all right. And I'm not abandoned and I'm okay. I think it's not a happy ending all the time. It's not like Disney where, oh, now that you know this, you'll be fine. No, we will still have compulsions. I suppose you want to get that beer, get that. Not a problem. I think I have a problem if it creeps into your daily life, bothers your daily duties and obligations, gets in the way of your taking care of your health or people who you're responsible for, like your children. But if if you are of the same belief as me that we always need soothing and we always need compensating and there will always be a propensity to be addicted to something, then can we at least choose something that has less consequences? So I think the summary is I'm not there's a whole lot of this actually. We were so wrong in dealing with addicts eh. Kasi pag addict, you're wrong, kulong ka, or go to your room. When actually maybe, or go to jail. But maybe there are other things that should come with it because I don't think the crime is the actual substance. I think the crime is the needing to get it so bad that you steal, that you join bad activities in order to acquire that fix. Gosh. And what if the fix is just love and companionship and being assured that there's someone there for you? Pala, you know? I don't know. This is an unfinished episode. So I'll tell you why. Because you need to read a bit more on it. You can Google. Google on addiction. Google, do you think you're addicted to something? Yeah. But I have something funny. I'm going to let you go with this funny thing. I did the research. I did the research, and a lot of women really, really like buying shoes. Like when they buy shoes, they're just happy. Okay, more than dresses or jeans. It's weird. It's really shoes high average. And then we studied, and we came to the conclusion that when you buy shoes and you fit them, they just look great. You don't see your bill when you're trying it on. You don't see your hips or your cellulite while you're trying it on. That's why every time you buy shoes, it's like ganda. I mean, unless you're really, really hot, then I don't think anyone's really addicted to buying swimsuits because, when you fit a swimsuit in white light, all of a sudden you're not addicted. You realize, I don't need a new swimsuit. I need a new body. But, that's just a joke. We really should be more comfortable where we are. But it's good to understand addiction this way with kinder eyes, wiser eyes, and not quick to judge because I think we all have it. And if we all have it, then I think it's just a matter of choosing which one with the least harmful consequences. So that's like the beginner's addiction 101. We could take a whole semester. Maybe we should just enroll. Maybe we should have a new season at Gold Diggers. I don't know. To cover the rest. We can actually talk about addiction for like 5 years. Seriously, because so many so many consequences come from it and so many life decisions come from it. So many children are damaged because of it. Seriously, kasi hindi na alagaan yung bata or etc. Tayo rin. So it's really good to understand. I don't know. So I guess your mental health tip is, what would you want to be addicted to? That's really cool. Me, seriously, I want to be addicted to gulay and exercise. Super dreaming. But yeah, I want to be addicted to gulay and drinking water. I don't drink enough water. So parang I'm going to be really drawn to constantly drinking water and eating vegetables. So that's a good addiction, I think. Okay, bye. No judging.